There we go.
I just hit the record button, Joe.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Allison Pultenus, we will let you make your comments. You'll have 2 minutes. You know what, Liz, I think my co-host status may have been taken away.
Hmm.
You should be set, Joe.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Allison.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. This is Allison Pultenus speaking. A couple of really interesting things about this site, and the site is in 1905, the Boston Sunday Post wrote it was the most remarkable quarry in New England. Roxbury pudding stone was incredible in the 19th century, right? Mission Church across the street was used, the stone was used, the cathedral in the South End, many, many churches in Back Bay. So the site itself is very historic. And so if we're thinking about that and we're thinking about Timothy McCarthy and his significance for the city, this is a important site. I'm not addressing the architecture of the building so much. I'm thinking about the site itself. And so the reason for asking for a 90-day delay is to understand how that should be acknowledged. And that's really important for the neighborhood. The WPA era wall that faces Pontiac Street is in Macris. The Roxbury pudding stone outcroppings on St. Alphonsus Street are also in Macris. And so those are historic resources that are going to be impacted by any project on this site. And the Roxbury pudding stone boulders actually underpin the WPA era cobblestone wall. So they are part of the original quarry yard. Timothy McCarthy was a really remarkable entrepreneur, and obviously his heritage for the neighborhood was very important because the homes at the top of the hill were not even built until Pontiac Street actually could become a real public street and no longer part of the quarry project. So it's, and his heirs built most of the adjacent properties. The house on St. Alphonsus that immediately abuts his house.
Allison, you're
Oh, I'm
over
at 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm
if you could
sorry.
wrap it up.
I'm
Thank you.
rambling. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Zoe Schefter, you'll have 2 minutes to make your comments. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Ah. All right. Hey, everybody. So yeah, I just personally wanted to attest to the significance of this building. I know we all view the world in very different ways. I personally don't see the graffiti on the side of the building as unsightly as someone mentioned. I actually see it as a beautiful expression of the culture in this area. And so if there's a way to actually integrate everybody together, right? And use the space in a way that serves everybody instead of kind of subscribing to certain people's kind of aesthetics that may not actually suit the entire community, right? Like if we're preserving culture, this is a really important meeting here. Culture matters. The buildings we live in matter. If they have no soul, if they're made of plastic and they don't feel like home to you, that does not make for a beautiful city. Do you see? It's important to also maintain the history of the location. I personally live in this area. I go to Kevin Fitzgerald Park every single day, which I know has a history with quarrying, and it used to be called Pudding Stone Park. Pudding stone is a huge stone in this area. It is in a lot of different parks, and there's actually a lot of history to it. If you look into the history of Pudding Stone and Pangea, actually, when we were all connected, there's when all of the continents were connected, Pudding Stone actually originates from Africa. Pudding stone is actually found in Africa as well. So it actually proves that we were all connected at one point. That's a very beautiful piece of history. So I just really urge folks to expand the way they perceive the culture of our city. And if we could please include other people who live here as well, right? That is my proposition. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for your comment. We'll move now to Thomas Shannon. Thomas, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yep.
Okay. Hi, my name is Thomas Shannon. I did my Master of Architecture thesis on Roxbury Pudding Stone and actually on the before it was demolished St. Alphonsus Hall, and particularly focusing on Timothy McCarthy in the late 1800s. My great-great-grandfather, Thomas Shannon, immigrated from Ireland to Mission Hill and actually married Mary McCarthy. So I have a strong personal side to this, and Timothy McCarthy provided stone for many of Boston's iconic churches, including the Holy Cross Cathedral and, of course, Mission Church, the neighborhood's namesake across the street. And I think that a lot of the original architectural characteristics of this building there is still stuff there. From last I remember it, I think the windows are still single pane, so they're a very early style. Underneath some of the vinyl visible from the street, you can actually see it's not even regularly sawn lumber. It's actually it's lumber with tree trunks. It has branches and stuff come out of it, so it's a very early construction underneath. And I think some of that has been protected by these additions that have been added on later on. And I think that is definitely worth looking into and pursuing. Should this 90-day demolition be postponed? Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. Any other public comment? Please raise your hand. Oh, I see Allison has her hand raised again. Is there one last comment you'd like to make, Allison, quickly?
Yes, thank you. I asked the owner a couple years ago if there was a way of determining the age of the building from any interior beams or any structure there. And I really think that should be part of the requirement for allowing any demolition of this, because if this was 18th century, possibly, it's obviously the oldest building in the neighborhood. So it's kind of important to think about ways of figuring out a wood frame building where there is not a lot of history that we know about. And so maybe there's something that could be done about that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Looks like that's the last of comment. I will say that staff did receive 5 email messages in support of invoking the 90-day demolition delay.
All right. Thank you, Joe. And I'm going to move on now to commissioners and invite commissioners to ask questions or provide comments on the building and whether or not demolition delay should be invoked. Justine, you can go ahead.
Great. I have a question for the applicant, and if the demolition delay was not enacted today, would the applicant be willing to work with BLC staff on some additional preservation elements on site? Some additional investigation, like some other folks spoke to, so that there would be possibly some history that could be preserved as part of a new project.
I can answer that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would say this: we're incorporating the wall as part of the development, so that is being incorporated. But as far as anything else, we would not agree to that. Unfortunately, you know, this building has at least 2 additions that we know of. There's another addition in the back that I couldn't find a permit for anywhere at ISD. Now, obviously, it's an older building, and people oftentimes do additions without permits. but you're looking at a building that's had a vertical and a horizontal building additions. I don't know how it continues, and I didn't hear that in the first explanation of when the staff commented on the building itself. I do not think that a building that's had two additions to it, significant additions, can maintain its historical integrity. But a lot of nice people spoke. You guys all seem like nice people. We went through a 20-month process to get this approved, and we've done everything we can.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Other commissioners, please. There are no further commissioner questions or comments. I'm going to ask staff just to please reiterate their recommendation on this.
Yes, Brad. The BLC staff recommends invoking demolition delay at this time.
Okay, thank you, Liz, and I would entertain a motion at this time to invoke a 90-day demolition delay for 1558 Tremont Street. Any commissioner wishing to make a motion? All right, there is no motion. The matter does not carry. Demolition delay is not invoked, and this hearing is concluded. Staff will issue an appropriate documentation to the applicant so they can obtain a demolition permit.
Appreciate everybody. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Same thing, but I'll read the same text into the record. This is 434 Washington Street in Brighton. The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether the Boston Landmarks Commission should specify a demolition delay period pursuant to the Boston Zoning Code, Article 85, Chapter 665 of the Acts of 1956, as amended, to be applied to 434 Washington Street. Tonight's process will have one step instead of the normally allowed two-step process because the applicant has waived their right to ask for a waiver of delay based on a review of feasible alternatives to demolition. Tonight, the commission will determine whether the building is preferably preserved and whether a 90-day demolition delay is invoked. I would now ask Boston Landmarks Commission staff to please review the staff's finding regarding the significance for 434 Washington Street with the commission. And the chair recognizes Joe Cornish, Director of Design Review.
Great, thank you. Staff has determined that 434 Washington Street is significant within the meaning of the ordinance, specifically section 85.53C states the building is historically or architecturally significant because of period style, method of building, construction, or important association with a famous architect or builder. And E, section 85.53E states the building is one whose loss would have a significant negative impact on the historical or architectural integrity or urban design character of the neighborhood. 434 Washington Street is the historic rectory of St. Margaret's Church in Brighton. St. Margaret's Church was lost in a fire in the 1970s. The rectory at 434 Washington Street is a rare and intact example of a 1910 craftsman-style colonial revival building, which was built by St. Margaret's Church in Brighton as a rectory. The original exterior millwork details are intact. According to the applicant's submitted photos, almost 100% of the interior details are also intact. The kitchen is a rare example of a 1930s era kitchen with few modern updates. The interior millwork and electrical fixtures are in good condition. In 1864, the Episcopalians built the wooden Gothic Revival Church of the Epiphany at the corner of Washington and Eastburn Streets. In 1872, it was sold to a new parish under the name of St. Margaret's Church. Although this church was destroyed by fire during the late 1970s, its name lives on St. Luke's and St. Margaret's Church in the Packard's Corner area of Alston. Several stained glass windows and memorabilia from the Brighton Center Church have been relocated to St. Luke's. St. Margaret's Rectory was located next door to the church at 434 Washington Street. Built for the church circa 1917-1924, the stucco parge craftsman-style house replaced the early 19th century wooden 5-bay single-pile John Field house. Staff notes that there are no evident problems with the structural integrity of the building.
Thanks very much, Joe. And I would now invite the applicant or a representative of the applicant to present information that would assist the commission in determining whether the building is historically significant or architecturally significant. And you may address the condition of the building. Your presentation should be limited to information regarding significance and condition and should not address alternatives to demolition or proposed projects or the suitability of the building for any proposed use.
Thank you,
Yes.
Commissioners. Attorney Jeff Drago with Drago and Toscano, with the business address of 11 Beacon Street, here on behalf of the applicant and petitioner Wesley Lung. As was mentioned, my client has owned this property for the last 2 years. Prior to him owning it, it has been vacant and uninhabitable on the building. What we did find through our permit research is the roof had been completely changed. We know that in 2007, there was significant water damage and a casualty loss filed with Inspectional Services Department. It's evident from many of the interior walls being buckled, the floors being cracked and buckled. There's no running water, electrical work. Everything would have to be completely done over and rehabbed, which is a significant cost that my client could not afford. As I mentioned, it has sat vacant. It's buckled up from the elements at this point, but it has been vacant all those years. That would conclude the information that we have, except we know that it was constructed in 1910 as the rectory. I thank the commission for their time, and we're here to answer any questions that folks may have.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to now open this to public comment. Comment again on the significance of the building and whether or not demolition delay should be imposed, but not on any proposed use or redevelopment plan for the property. I'm going to turn this back to Joe Cornish to run us through public comment.
All right, if there are any members of the public who would like to comment, please raise your hand and you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment. Hey, Bruce Klein. Bruce, you should be able to unmute yourself and you have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Hello? Yes. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes. Could you state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Diane Klein, and tonight I am speaking on behalf of the Brighton Alston Historical Society. Ideally, we would like to preserve and reuse this historic house. We would request a 90-day delay to allow neighbors to talk to the developer about alternatives to demolition. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for your comment. Any other members of the public, please raise your hand. Okay, Susan Rufo. Susan, you should be able to unmute yourself and you'll have 2 minutes to make your comment.
Yes, good evening. I had a question actually regarding the process. I know that the notice must be distributed in the form of a flyer to the properties within a 500 foot radius. I was just wondering, the staff is to be provided a map and a list of the addresses, but my concern is there is about 49 condominium units within probably less than 150 feet of this particular address. And I'm not quite sure that those property owners were properly served, in so much that there's 461 Washington Street, which is a stone's throw away, has 25 condo units in it. And then there's at least 15 condo units on Shanley Street, which is the next abutting street. And to my knowledge, those condominium unit owners were not given proper notice. So in lieu of the fact that there is a question with regards to the type of notice that was given to those residents, I would respectfully request that a delay be given on that premise so that everyone has the opportunity to look at this and be aware.
Great, great. Thank you for your comment. All right, I see Steve, you have your hand raised. If you could give us your full name, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yep. Could we have your
Hey,
full
how you
name?
doing? My name's Steve Katakakis. I own the property directly next door to 434 Wash. I own 430-432 Washington Street. I was never served a notice or given any notice to any abutters meeting prior to whatever approval you was given for the work on this property. I strongly oppose any demolition of this property and any work being done. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, any other members of the public who would like to comment? Paulette Fontaine, you should be able to unmute yourself. Paulette? Oop, try again.
All
There we
right,
go.
there it
Great.
is.
Thank you.
All right. I used to attend St. Luke's and St. Margaret's Church in Packett's Corner, and I served as the parish historian for some time. And what I would like to say is that St. Margaret's Parish was among the anchors of the community and was particularly known for its assistance in social outreach to the surrounding community, especially to families and immigrants. It had a major impact. The only remaining building is in back of the Brighton laundromat, which I believe used to be the parish hall, which is now privately owned. After St. Margaret's closed, all of the buildings were sold to other people. They were all residents who moved into those properties. I guess that's it.
Great. Thank you for your comment. We'll move next to S 1967. If you can give us your full name, we'll give you 2 minutes to make your comment.
Yes, hi, it's Barbara and Steve Pecci. We live on 60 Foster Street, just next door to this very historical building. The woman who lived there, Joanne, was a friend of ours for many, many years. Wouldn't have been a person who knew necessarily how to or whether she should designate this as an historical building or the significance of it, or would have the resources to do so. That said, whether or not she had done that, certainly if unfortunately this goes forward and this very historical building is designated for demolition, we would be interested in knowing when it would begin, what the timeline and estimated completion would be, the final count of units and parking, which as an abutter, we have not been notified to as precisely what that's going to look like beyond one meeting that we happen to find out about from another neighbor. Are they all condos? Are they all rentals? The retail unit on ground floor, the management of rodent problem, which is going to be significant, which is also significant now in our neighborhood. But beyond some of the construction concerns, the beauty of this building it has gone so unrecognized for so many years. And the delay in 90 days, which I think would be very important so that the Historical Society in our neighborhood would be able to make a better determination as to whether or not there should be an application for some other historical significance.
Great. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Please raise your hand. All right, seeing none, I can report that staff received 10 email messages against invoking the 90-day demolition delay, and staff received 6 email messages and 1 telephone message in support of invoking the 90-day demolition delay.
Joe, we also just received another email supporting a delay in our BLC
Okay, great. Thank you.
email.
All right, thanks, Joe. I'm going to close public comment, open the floor to commissioners to ask questions or provide comments. I see Commissioner Hart. Do you want to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify what our procedure is when we are notified by the public that abutters do not receive appropriate notification.
Sure, I think the applicant who has his hand raised could probably answer that.
But what I'm getting at is, what are our bylaws? Do we need to continue this hearing?
No, it's the applicant who would be notifying abutters.
I understand that. I'm getting at, do we need to continue the hearing until the appropriate notification occurs?
So Chris, I think what you're asking is, would it be a possibility to continue this hearing based on what you're hearing about abutters notices not being received?
That's correct. I believe that's what I asked. Yes.
All right, let's recognize
Hi.
Jeff Drago,
Yeah.
who can speak to
Yes.
the distribution of abutters
So-
notices, please.
So all of the notices we were asked to give out, we complied with. We presented all evidence back to the Landmarks Commission. A sign was put appropriately on the building in a visible spot to be seen. All notices were sent back. We sent all applicable emails to all of the appropriate groups that were supposed to be notified, and it's evident by the folks that are here, who are all abutters, that a notice was given. I think there is definitely confusion from what I heard, because folks, I think some folks are talking about the BPDA process, and I know I can't talk about the process that we went through, but I think it's appropriate now. We went through about a 1.5 to 2 year community process to get the project approved, and that was all handled by the BPDA through their legal notice system, so we're not allowed to flyer for that. So I think some folks are thinking that this involves the development of the project, when this is very specific to the Landmarks Commission, but all of the requirements for landmarks were met. So I don't see why we would be delayed in any way in terms of a process tonight.
Thank you. We're not going back to public comment. I'm going to continue with commissioner comments and questions, please. Any commissioners?
Brad, am I able to ask a question about the BPTA process, or do we need to keep that out of the discussion?
I think we should stay focused on our purview.
Okay.
All right. Joe, do you want to recap staff recommendations on this?
Yes, thank you. Staff recommends invoking the 90-day demolition delay.
Thank you. And I would open the floor to see if there is a motion to invoke the 90-day demolition delay.
I'll make that motion, Brad.
Thank you, Commissioner Orlando. And is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Ward Hyatt. All commissioners present are voting. I think Commissioner Freeman has left the meeting. Is that true?
It looks like that.
Okay, we still have quorum. Commissioner Jacques.
Yes.
Commissioner, I'm going to call on Commissioner Freeman. Commissioner Freeman, you there? I don't think he is. Commissioner Orlando.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Hart.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward Hyatt.
Yes.
And I vote yes. So the Boston Landmarks Commission finds that it is in the public interest, and it is preferable that the building at 434 Washington Street be preserved or rehabilitated rather than be demolished. Therefore, the Boston Landmarks Commission has determined that this significant building is subject to demolition delay, and that the Commissioner of Inspectional Services shall not issue a demolition permit until November 10th, 2025, 90 days from the close of tonight's public hearing. The applicant should be responsible for properly securing and protecting the building during that time, that they are subject to delay under Article 85. I will note that I heard a number of members of the public expressing interest in dialogue of some kind with the owner. So this is your 90 days to do that.
Thank you, commissioners.
That concludes that matter. I'm going to move on to staff updates and recognize Elizabeth Sherlock.
Thanks, Brad. Just a couple of quick updates. The next hearing will be August 26th. At this point in time, we just have some review items. So we will start the design review committee at 5 with the business hearing to follow at 6. I also wanted to extend a thank you to everyone who has used our new RSVP tracking system so we can track attendance for our hearings. And I think that's it. Thanks, Brad.
Is there anyone on the call tonight, Liz, who didn't use your tracking system that you want to prompt specifically?
I believe everyone
here
has used it, and I will double check.
Give you a second to do that. I'm sorry to
Okay.
put you on the spot.
No, that's okay. Everyone here has used the tracker. So
all right.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody. I think we're ready to adjourn. That would be a voice vote, but I do need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Commissioner Orlando. And a second. Commissioner Hart. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? All right, we are adjourned.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Aye.